At E3 2015, Square Enix dropped a trailer that rocked Final Fantasy fans around the world. After years of speculation, the company officially revealed that Final Fantasy VII was getting a remake. The announcement trailer was less than 2 minutes long and didn't carry a release date, and since then, there's been almost no news about the in-development RPG. Years after that big E3 reveal, we still don't know when the game will hit consoles. So what's taking so long? Here's why the FF7 remake hasn't been released yet. More than a remake. We've seen Square Enix remake Final Fantasy games before. The first 6 games in the series have been ported multiple times from their original forms on Nintendo systems to handhelds, phones, and newer consoles. Sometimes remakes have added brand new scripts, 3D graphics, story tweaks, and voice acting. Aside from these tweaks, the actual game mechanics didn't really change. It's different for Final Fantasy VII. As director Tetsuya Nomura told Famitsu, FF7 is special, and we cannot surpass it just by making it look pretty. Instead, the company is rebuilding the game from the ground up. Episodic Epic. One of the few things we've learned about the remake is that it will be released episodically, with the story broken down into multiple parts and doled out to players in pieces. In a since-deleted blog post, producer Yoshinori Kitase explained, "If we were to fit everything from the original into one remake installment, we would have to cut various parts and create a condensed version of Final Fantasy VII." But that quote doesn't tell the whole story. Apparently, the remake isn't going to be a single game chopped up into pieces, like Telltale's The Walking Dead or Square Enix's own Life is Strange. Instead, it's going to be a series of complete standalone games that together retell Final Fantasy VII's epic plot. According to Kitase, each FF7 installment will be about the same size and length as Final Fantasy XIII. Yes, the whole 50-hour game. That's huge. Even if the remake only ends up being a couple of installments, that's still a couple of full-sized Final Fantasy adventures. No wonder it's taking so long. Listen to my story. Final Fantasy VII isn't a short game, but if it's going to be stretched out to multiple full-length titles, they're going to have to add some new material. That means expanding the plot. The FF7 remake won't add any new characters to the game's already extensive cast, but there will be new story elements, in addition to a bunch of revamped and fully voiced dialogue. The transition between the old and new material should be fairly seamless. According to Japanese game magazine Dengeki, the original game's co-writer Kazuyugi Nojima will be returning to help flesh out the plot. A new way of fighting. The story isn't the only part of FF7 getting a major overhaul. Its battle system will be different this time too. From the footage released so far, it's clear that the original's turn-based battle system is gone, with something more action-oriented taking its place. It's still not entirely clear how battles will play out, but Kitase told Game Informer that the remake team is looking to the fighting game Dissidia Final Fantasy for inspiration. That fast-paced fighting game lets characters move freely around a 3D world. Depending on the environment, the player will have opportunities to perform situation-specific actions like diving for cover, while enemy attacks can change the battlefield layout, forcing players to switch up their tactics. It's all very different from what came before, and Nomura admits that the changes may not sit well with the original's dedicated fans. It's another example of the way the company is recreating the classic game from scratch, and how much work the company still has to do. Help still wanted. You can't make a game without people, and it looks like a few jobs are still open at Square Enix. As recently as April 2018, nearly 3 years after the game was announced, Square Enix was still seeking to fill key positions on the remake's development team. Some of the people they're still looking for include battle planners to help design the game's new battle system, and the level planners to devise new game locations. Those are pretty fundamental tasks, and that the positions haven't been filled yet indicates that there's still quite a lot of work to be done before the FF7 remake hits consoles. Who's making this thing? In 2015, Square Enix said that it was farming out some of the remake's development to third-party contractors, including the studio behind the .hack series and various Naruto titles. But 2 years later, the company changed course, giving control of the game back to its in-house developers. On one hand, this shift shows that Square Enix is taking the remake seriously, but it also raises questions about how much work got done by those outside contractors. The company probably isn't starting everything over from scratch, but it sounds like there were some problems with the outsiders' approach. For fans, that's going to mean an even longer wait. The director takes his time. Final Fantasy VII isn't the only game that Tetsuya Nomura has in development. He's also been hard at work on the very long-awaited Kingdom Hearts 3, development on which started in 2010. Before that, Nomura was tied up for years with Final Fantasy Versus 13, which Square Enix announced in 2006. Though Nomura and his staff worked on the game for 7 years, they never got the game anywhere close to completion. Final Fantasy Type 0 director Hajime Tabata ultimately took over the project, and the game was redesigned as Final Fantasy XV, finally making its way to fans after a 10-year development cycle. Could it be that the FF7 remake is the next game to be subject to this crushingly long development? It's starting to look like it. All gamers really want is for the game to be good, but if it doesn't take a decade to create this time, that would be nice too. Thanks for watching. Click the SVG icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Plus, check out all this cool stuff we know you'll love too.